Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Nooga Cowboy, and we're back at Crockett Power Sports, and we got something else we're going to ride here. The beautiful 2020 Indian Springfield, and we got Casey Crockett right here. Casey, beautiful bike, so tell us all about it.
Well, as you said, Joe, it's the 2020 Indian Springfield. This year they still have the 111 in them, which is just a phenomenal motor. It's putting out 119.2 foot-pounds of torque. This bike has a 25-degree rake and just handles like a dream. Same rake as the touring bikes, but without the weight of the fairing on the front end. You also have your 3 ride modes, your touring and standard and sport, which you've experienced on a couple of the other bikes. I know that's a treat that you like there on it, is the sport mode. Just an incredible machine, man, and I can't wait for you to get out and take it for a spin, see what you think.
So for the layman motorcycle guy out there, or a woman, this looks a lot like the Chief Vintage. What's the main difference between the Springfield and the Vintage?
Well, for 14 up through 19, the Vintage was on a different frame. It had a 28-degree rake versus a 25. Of course, the Vintage has the saddlebags that are leather and just a classic look. The Springfield was done on the touring bike frames. It actually has its own frame, but the 25-degree rake, like the Chieftains and like the Roadmasters. Now for 2020, they are putting the Vintage on the Springfield frame as well. So you have that 3 degrees less in your rake, a little bit tighter turning, tighter circles and figure eights, just a little bit better handling, but you can't go wrong with either of them.
So for those that are coming through Chattanooga, or you're in the Chattanooga area, and maybe you're interested in, well, you should be interested in an Indian motorcycle, how do they contact you?
They can reach us on the website at crockettpowersports.com, or they're welcome to give us a call at 423-760-3670. We'll be happy to help them in any way we can.
Casey, always appreciate it, brother. You guys know what time it is. Let's ride. All right, let's go. Let's move on. '20 Indian Springfield. It's a bigger bike, but it doesn't really come off as a big bike. You heard Casey talk a little bit about the specs on this thing. Very powerful bike. Sounds great. Of course, the windshield coming from a Scout. I love that. Don't get beat down by the wind on those long trips. You also have the floorboards, footboards. As I said before, I'm a layman, so whatever they're called, really add to the comfort. And just the comfort really stands out. I mean, if we're going first impression type deal, the comfort just stands out, and it's a smooth, silky smooth ride. And that's what you get with the Vintage, the Challenger. I have yet to ride a Roadmaster, but really looking forward to that. You feel like you are one with a motorcycle. We get up to the red light, we'll test acceleration, see what we got going on there. Yeah, pretty standard controls. Horn, lights, hazard, turn signal. I believe this has cruise control. Yeah, it has cruise control. It's always a plus. I love that option. Beautiful day to go riding. Hey-yo! Hey, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. I appreciate you doing that. Oh yeah, it's getting this lean. Not that syruping lean, but just a nice little lean here. Lots of chrome on this bike. I'm not really a chrome guy, but for some motorcycles it just works. I mean, if the engine was blacked out, it wouldn't look right. And I think chrome really fits the Springfield and the vintage. It just goes with the whole attitude of the motorcycle. Of course, matte black, kind of the trend now. Everybody wants to black out their motorcycle. I'm raising my hand because I do it. My motorcycle is about as blacked out as it can get. But then, there's something to be said for the chrome. Nothing wrong with it. To each his own. So I took that bump. Nice. The suspension feels great. And you kind of get lost in riding the motorcycle, and that's you got to watch the speed, man. The corner's great. Not necessarily a light clutch. I wouldn't call it a tough clutch by any means, but not as light as I've experienced on motorcycles. Definitely know you're grabbing it. I mentioned this before, I believe, on the vintage video. Sport bike guys, gotta love them. I mentioned this on the vintage video, and see, here's the one hand test. Is it as responsive as some of the other bikes? I'm talking about bikes in the Indian lineup. I think the Challenger is definitely more responsive. And to be honest, it's been a while since I rode some of the other ones, so just going on down, just comparing it to the Challenger. All right, now, come on. I don't want to have to go around, but I will. Where's your license plate at too, son? I'm saying this lane because I gotta take a left up here. It's just down here. I probably should have went. Would I choose this motorcycle for a cross-country trip? I think it's a little bit early to determine that. It is comfortable, as I said. This is more than a around town bike. It's not a Scout. It is something you can definitely put miles on. Got the highway bars. Very simple, but gets the job done, and it looks good doing it. I'm about 5'11". I can flat foot it pretty easily. In second gear. Oh yeah. Can we do wheelies with this thing? I felt like it. That's nice. All right, we're about to get on the highway here and see what the old girl has for us. I have no idea what gear I'm in. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh, come on now. Not too bad. Back it on down a little bit. The one hand test, not an issue on the highway or interstate. Look, you can even, we don't want to put my foot right there because it brakes. Seating position is just great. But as I mentioned, I'm 5'11", and I am getting a little getting a little wind on the top of my head. Not a big deal, not uncomfortable at all, but you can feel it. This is just a bike you would feel comfortable on. Comfortable with and comfortable on. Big enough to ride for a lot of miles. Small enough, take it around town, you know. Get it in the corner or two. Sounds great, looks great. And I love the bars. I mean, it's nice and wide, not too wide. It's just a comfortable position for your hands and arms. I don't see myself getting fatigued at any point as far as that setup is concerned. We're about to see how it performs in traffic. It never fails. I always hit plenty of red lights when I'm doing these test rides. And the fuel gauge, yes! I don't have a fuel gauge on my motorcycle, so it's the little things that impress me. Okay, so yeah, I'm starting to feel that wind a little bit more now. So if you're looking for a great motorcycle, not necessarily all the bells and whistles, somewhere in between a cruiser and a touring bike, this is it. This is very similar to the vintage. I don't think you can go wrong with either bike. Just very impressed with how they perform and how they ride. Yeah, let's go. I yield. Ooh, yeah, it's a power, man. It's a power. I love it. Love that power, baby. If you ain't first, you last. Get some. And then we're gonna try. So our next slide, we'll spotlight the braking and also throttle response. This motorcycle has 3 modes: standard, touring, and sport. And as you go from touring to standard to sport, as most of you know, it just affects the throttle response. Sport's going to give you, it's going to be twitchy, not like Yamaha, you know, MT10 twitchy or whatever the number is. But there is a difference, and it's a noticeable difference. Don't worry if you're a relatively new rider. It's not something you can't handle. I know some of the motorcycles out there, you go and some people buy bikes that they're just not ready for, and it's usually on the sport bike end of the spectrum. Don't do that. Make sure you get the right bike for you, something you can handle. It's just a smart thing to do, because you don't want to end up trading it in after you've had it for 6 months or 2 months. Oh, that sounds great. Braking, great. I mean, it's very responsive. You can see right there. Good stuff. We're in second gear right now. Okay. It's not torquey. It's not. And let's just make sure what mode we're in. So we're in standard mode. All right. Now we're in sport mode. See, I told you it makes a huge difference. You better be ready for it. But very controllable. I say that. There's a very noticeable difference between standard and sport, and that's just the next level up. You know, you start at touring, go to standard, and then to sport. All right, let's see. Yeah. You ain't messing with me, son. I'm on the Indian Springfield. Even though it is more responsive, you still have that smoothness to the throttle, and that's impressive. You want that. You want it to be very responsive, but you don't want that twitchiness to it, and that's what you get with this motorcycle. And all the motorcycles, from what I've experienced with Indian. What up? I would like to take this this motorcycle out and get some Twisties, you know, see what it does, get the real test of what it can do on some curves. I think it would be fine. Like I said, just a little we did. Getting that lean on felt great. Nothing but good things to say about this motorcycle. I usually have my boots on, so I got to go a little further up to switch gears. So to wrap up the ride, let me give some grades on this motorcycle, the 2020 Indian Springfield. The seating position is good. I asked the question earlier if this is something I would ride on a long distance, cross-country trip. I'm not sure. I think that would just need more time in the quote-unquote saddle to really get a feel for it. I mean, it's not bad. It's got a great seat, nice comfy seat on it. Just for me, I'm not sure. Bells and whistles, you don't have much on this motorcycle. You've got the standard controls. So if you're looking for the navigation, you're looking for radio, all that stuff, this is not your motorcycle. Braking, A, definitely give it an A. Very responsive, just a little squeeze on the handle there and you've got brakes. Acceleration, pretty good. Obviously a lot better in sport mode, which we are in right now. Let's go ahead and get over here. So acceleration, I would give a, just going by standard mode, I would give a B. Power, plenty of power. I'll give it an A. An A for power. There's plenty there. Looks, again, coming from a guy that's not really a chrome guy, even though the chrome fits the attitude of this motorcycle, I'll give it a B. Windshield, A+. Cornering, handling that lean, getting in and out of the corner, B+. I think it's pretty impressive. And so overall, the grade I would give this motorcycle: comfort, braking, acceleration, power, ergonomics, I would give it a solid B. It could go up to a B+, could go down to a B-, depending on, if I had more time with it. I don't think it'd go down. I really don't, just from what I've experienced. But a nice sized bike. It's not too big, not too small. You'd be happy with it. Great price too. Very affordable. Classic look from Indian. I'm hearing there's rumors out there, and I don't know if it's true, that they might have some new models in the works. That's just rumor. So I don't know. I can't confirm any of that. I hope they do. I'd love to see more. I love the models they have, but I'd like to see some sportier versions too. You really feel that torque in sport mode. So I'm looking forward to see what Indian has to offer. Maybe they play off the FTR and do something, maybe another bike like that. That'd be awesome if they did. Here we are back at Crockett Power Sports. We'll get out, take one last look at this motorcycle. Nice ride, I like it. So one last look. Just a quality piece of machinery. What else can you say? It's got that new smell to it. I love that. Let's take a look at the front. There you go. A 2020 Indian Springfield. Check it out. Crockett Power Sports in Chattanooga, Tennessee. If you're riding down this way, up this way, stop in, say hi. Great people here. And if you're interested in an Indian motorcycle, it's a place to come. They'll do you right. Till next time, make sure you subscribe. Join me on Instagram, Nooga Cowboy. And if you like the channel, you're feeling happy, you feel supportive, support the channel. Link down below. Would definitely appreciate that. Till next time, this is the Nooga Cowboy.